just got back from watching Paddington in Peru, and this was my most anticipated movie of all of 2024. Did it disappoint? To be 100%? No. Not really. Is this a perfect movie? No, it does have a few problems. Wait, my dog. But I'll get on to that in a little bit. To be perfectly honest, I would say this movie is the weakest out of all the Paddington movies, but it's not even a bad movie. This is an amazing movie. But comparing this to the absolute masterpiece that is Paddington 2, Paddington 2 is like 5 times better than this movie. It still has the same charm and humour as the previous Paddington movies that audiences have come to love, which helps this movie from even being considered, like, good at best. But this movie I had a lot of fun with. The cast did a great job. Of course, you got Ben Whishaw back as the voice of Paddington, and I just love him. He is the perfect voice for Paddington. You've also got Imelda Staunton back as Aunt Lucy. She was in this movie just a little bit more than I thought she would be, but I love her character. I love Imelda Staunton. They are both great. They're both just great. You've got Hugh Bonneville back as Henry Brown, Mr. Brown. He was great as always. Everyone just did such a great job. You've also got Julie Walters back as Mrs. Bird. Easily the best comic relief in all the movies. I love her so much. But in this movie, Mary Brown, Mrs. Brown, in the previous 2 movies, she was played by Sally Hawkins, but if I'm not mistaken, she couldn't come back for this movie because she was filming Wonka at the same time that they were filming this movie, so she couldn't exactly do both, which, to be completely honest, I didn't really understand, because, like, she was only in the movie for, like, what, 4-5 minutes at most, like, thinking of all her scenes in the movie. And I just didn't get why she didn't come back for this movie. It just really confused me. But the person they had in for this movie, Emily Mortimer, I really liked Emily Mortimer. I haven't seen her in a lot, but I think she was honestly the best person to have taken over the character, because she did an amazing job. Like, she blew me away. She's no Sally Hawkins, but she is, like, just as good, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, I had no issues. Like, when I first heard that she had to be recast, I was like, I hope she's not too bad, but she did such a great job. Like, and she just felt like Mrs. Brown, like, literally. Also in this movie, you've got Antonio Banderas as, I can't remember his name, but he plays like a Peruvian sailor who is trying to find the lost city of El Dorado, and it turns out Paddington is sort of the key to it. So yeah, you can tell that he is playing the villain in this movie. And he did a great job. I love Antonio Banderas, but out of all the villains, I would probably say that he did, well, not did. Out of all the three villains in the movies, he probably is the weakest out of them all. And to be completely honest, he felt a lot like Hugh Grant. Like, he brought on like the same characters that Hugh Grant did for his character in Paddington 2, Phoenix Buchanan. Yeah, I didn't hate him, but I could just see like the similarities with both characters. Will we see Hugh Grant again? It remains to be seen. And try not to spoil the movie, because it's just come out in the UK, but yeah, it's just come out in the UK, and I think it comes out like January for like everywhere else, so it is like a bit like tricky to like not spoil this movie. I highly recommend that you watch this movie. I think this is like a great family movie. It's like Paddington, like it's Paddington like the same one that we've come to love. Will I be watching this again in the cinema? Most likely. I will try to watch this again. I don't know when I'll be back in the cinema. Probably will be soon, because I do want to go watch Piece by Piece, and that has just come out. So I will try and watch that, because it does look interesting. But yeah, when this movie does eventually come out in January for wherever you live, I highly recommend that you go watch this. I think you will absolutely love this movie. Yeah, I think with all that out of the way, that was my thoughts and reviews on Paddington in Peru. So, how would I rate Paddington in Peru on a scale of 1 to 10? I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. Again, in my opinion, the weakest out of the three, but it's not even close to a bad movie. Like, it's just my own personal opinion. Personally, I think Paddington Peru is the weakest out of the three, but I love it. And I love the previous two. And yeah, I'm glad that we got this at this time of the year, because yes, there are stuff coming out, but I think right now we do need Paddington, because Paddington just honestly just brings us such joy, and we really need that right now.